Right. Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026, and welcome to TravelJoy 101, an introductory look at the TravelJoy platform. My name is Caitlin, and I'll be your host today. I am joined in the audience by fellow Joy makers Cody, Chelsea, Heather, and Marissa, who will be helping to monitor the chat and answer questions in the Questions tab. Now, if you are new to the TravelJoy platform, I'd love to tell you a little bit about who we are. So we are TravelJoy, the all-in-one platform for travel advisors. With our platform, you can manage clients, create itineraries, and handle payments all in one place. From our full CRM to our itinerary builder, you get access to tools that help you save time, look professional, stay organized, and simplify payments. So let's explore how TravelJoy can add value to your daily routine. At TravelJoy, you get a centralized digital workspace to run your business smoothly and efficiently. Stay organized and stress-free with our CRM. Securely store client details, effortlessly connect with travelers, and manage tasks with ease all in one place. Want to create beautiful professional proposals and itineraries that will impress your clients? Our itinerary and proposal builder helps you craft memorable experiences that leave a lasting impression. Get paid with ease. TravelJoy's invoicing tools let you securely collect credit card authorizations and process payments seamlessly. Next, you can save hours by letting TravelJoy handle the busy work by automating routine emails, forms, and follow-ups. Plus, you can harness the power of AI to create complete itineraries and proposals in just seconds using our Copilot tool. And finally, we've got you covered on simplifying group trips. Save time and stay organized with our groups feature. Create streamlined booking pages and manage group trips from one convenient tab. In today's webinar, we'll explore a few of these features in more detail, showing you how TravelJoy can help you streamline your workflow. Now, we have a jam-packed webinar for you today. I'm going to walk you through how to set up your account, and then we'll build a trip and smart proposal together. Then we'll take you through building your first group and group booking page, as well as how your clients can authorize and make payments. We'll also go through our Help Center and the many resources we've created to support you as you learn to use TravelJoy. Now, near the end of today's session, I will be providing you with a promo code for 50% off your first 2 months of a pro monthly membership, so please stay tuned. If you do need to leave a little early, that promo code section will be on the recording emailed to you after this webinar ends. And this webinar will move quickly. We have a lot to go over in just an hour's time. Please note that you will receive a recording of this session by email after its conclusion. You'll be able to pause, rewind, and rewatch the recording to really take in what we go over today. That replay will also include the chat and questions tab, so you can access any resources shared during the session. Now, speaking of questions, we welcome your questions, and our team is here in the audience to help answer those for you. You can submit your questions in the questions tab just below the chat box. It's that little circle with the question mark in it. And just for your knowledge, we likely won't be able to stop and answer questions live on screen today, but my fellow Joy makers are in the audience to help answer those for you. You also have to excuse me. I have had a little bit of a cold/cough/never-ending sickness the last 3 weeks, so you may still hear me cough a little bit. So I apologize if that occurs, or I may need to stop to take a few more drinks of water than I normally do. But let's go ahead and jump into it and take a look at TravelJoy. All right, so heading into our dashboard, the first thing that I want to show you is your profile setup checklist. You can access this checklist by heading up to the icon up here. So yours may say something different. Mine says 70%, but yours may say 60% or 40%. If you click on this icon, it's going to open the profile setup checklist, and it's going to walk you through the important steps of getting your account set up. We'll start with your free trial, as well as setting up your brand. So this is going to be things like agency information, logos, that kind of thing. See the client experience. So what your client sees when they open a form or proposal from you. We'll see a little bit of that today. Import your clients to your contact list on TravelJoy so you have everything right at your fingertips. And most importantly, get paid using direct payments. So again, we're going to touch on a lot of these topics as we move through today's session. If you don't want to use all of these steps, that's quite all right. You can use the hide profile setup checklist link, and that will hide that icon moving forward, and you can just go ahead and ignore those steps if you'd like. But let's get into the fun stuff. Let's create our first trip together. Creating a trip in TravelJoy is very simple. You can do so by heading up to this blue New button at the top left and selecting trip from the options that appear. Now, I want you to think of a trip in TravelJoy as a file folder. Everything from start to finish with your client about this trip, communication, files, invoices, proposals, forms, can all live in this file folder or trip. All you need to get this trip started is your client's first and last name and email. You don't even have to know where they're headed quite yet. You can get the ball rolling with just that information. Now, if you happen to know your client, you can select them from this drop-down menu here. Or if they're not yet in your contact list, you can use the Create New link just below to add their first name, last name, and email accordingly. I do happen to know my client, so I'm going to select her from this drop-down menu, Miss Jane Doe, just a little bit farther down here. And I don't know where Jane is headed quite yet. She's just let me know she wants to plan something. So I'll leave it at that for now, and we can update those details as we go. I'll use the blue Create Trip button to start the process of creating that trip. And where we're going to land is on that trip's message feed. So this trip has been created within TravelJoy. Now we can start using it to communicate with our clients and create documents for this trip. This message feed is going to house all of your communication back and forth with your client, any email communication, that kind of thing. Now from here, we probably want to gather a little bit more information from Jane about where she'd like to go, the type of trip she sees herself taking. So we're going to send her a form to get a little bit more information. A form can be sent on TravelJoy through this trip by using the blue Create button, just to the top right here, and selecting Form from the options that appear. Now, TravelJoy comes with a ton of default forms that you can customize to your liking, or you can build completely new forms if you'd like. We're going to start by selecting who on this trip is receiving this form, and since Jane is the only traveler, she's the only one listed here. But if we had multiple travelers, we would see them listed as well in those same little blue boxes. And if we'd like for one traveler to fill out the form on behalf of all other travelers, you can check this checkbox here. That'll allow you to do so. We're then going to select the form we'd like to send to our client. So we can use this drop-down menu to select any of the forms from our form templates. And in this case, I'm going to select our client inquiry form. Now, this is just going to be my basic client inquiry form, just gathering those details, where she'd like to go. And again, these are completely customizable, and you can find them underneath your Templates tab on the dashboard. If you'd like to send a confirmation email, which means when your client submits that form, an email is immediately sent to their inbox, you can select an email template from your Email Templates tab, and that will send right away once your client submits their form. You can select that here, or you can leave it blank, completely up to you. Now, once we've selected these details, we'll head up to the blue Next button at the top right. And we're going to select Review Email. And I just saw that nice comment in the chat. Wendy, thank you so much. TravelJoy tries to make it as easy as possible to customize your form, so we love that feedback. All right, so from here, we're going to customize the email that's going to accompany this form. So we can change the subject if we'd like. We can change the message body. You can change the entire email template. Again, you can access any of the email templates saved in your TravelJoy account by using this drop-down menu down here at the bottom to select which template you'd like to use. You can make sure your signature looks nice and tidy here. That's also something you can update underneath your signature templates. And you even have the ability to send an email if your client doesn't submit this form in a certain amount of time. That's this box right here. If you check this, you'll be able to choose the amount of days that will pass before this email is sent. You'll select the email template as the follow-up email that you'd like to send and the time you'd like it to send. So no longer chasing after clients for form replies. You can automate that process for yourself. Once we're happy with our message, we'll use the blue Send button, and away it goes. And we're going to be taken right back to our trip message feed, as we can see on my screen, where we can see that email that we just sent to our client, including a link to that form. Okay, well, that's nice. We know how to do that on our end. What does this look like to the client? I just so happen to have access to Jane's email inbox, so I'm going to head on over there so you can see it from the client's perspective. And it looks like it got pushed over to our promotions tab, which isn't a big deal. Sometimes Gmail likes to do that. I'm just going to move it on over to our primary. So moving forward, we won't run into that issue. Alrighty. So this is the one I'm looking for. This was a test email that I'd sent yesterday from another account. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And our client is going to be able to view trip form by using this blue button here. And this is what that form is going to look like. So Jane's going to fill this out to the best of her abilities. So we're going to say, where would you like to go? She would like to go to Paris, France. She'd like to depart in September. So we'll say September 20th through the 26th. So it'll pull that up for us. Our departure city is Salt Lake City, Utah. How many travelers? Just one. We'll go ahead and correct that SALT just in case that drove anyone else crazy, because it will drive me crazy. And they'll be able to fill out their travel preferences. And again, these form responses, you can customize these questions however you need to. Now, once Jane is done filling out her form, she'll submit that form using the blue Submit Form button at the top right-hand corner of the screen. A thank you message will appear, which is completely customizable underneath your confirmations templates. And if we wanted to add another traveler to this trip, Jane could easily do so by using that Add Traveler button. Now, if we head back into our perspective as the advisor, and we refresh our TravelJoy trip screen in any way, we're going to see a notification including Jane's trip details or form details that she submitted. You'll also receive an email notification directly to your email inbox. You can always access those form details by using the link on this message, or you can head to the Trip Files tab and find that form here if needed. Another cool feature of the forms is that you'll notice over here at the top, Jane's details for her trip have been updated automatically in some cases. So we have our trip start date and end date was updated automatically. And we see that Paris, France is our destination. So that's some work we didn't have to do. Our form just took care of that for us. Now, let's go ahead and maybe choose a photo that more represents Paris. So let's go ahead and go to this little three-dot menu just to the left of the blue Create button and select Edit Trip. From here, we can edit any of those trip details we see in the top right-hand corner, as well as change our trip photo. I'm going to use the Choose Photo button at the top right, and we can use the search bar to search any of the photos available to us that we can use on this trip, or you can upload your own using the Upload tab up here. Now, I use Paris as a pretty frequent example, so we've got a beautiful picture of the Louvre here. I'm going to go ahead and search it just so you can see its capabilities. So we'll say, whoop, Paris, France. And there we have it. We have a few more options here. Oh, I like this one of the nighttime. Perfect. So it's going to bring in that photo here in just a few moments. There it is. And again, you can change any of the details of the trip that you need to from this tab, including confirmation numbers can be added, additional travelers. You can adjust the dates here as well as the destination. So you have a lot of options here. Once you're happy with your selection, hit save. That photo is going to update. Beautiful. And we're ready for our next step. Well, what is our next step? So there are a lot of different routes that you can take in TravelJoy, but likely your next step is going to be creating a proposal or an itinerary. We have three choices here at TravelJoy. If we use the blue Create button at the top right of the trip, you're going to see those choices. We have our itinerary, which is the straightforward itinerary. This is what you're going to be doing. It's just for the client to review and to be able to access. We have our proposal option, which will allow you to display a proposal made outside of TravelJoy if you need to within TravelJoy. And finally, we have our Smart Proposal option. Now, I'll tell you a secret. Our Smart Proposal option and our Itinerary option are both the same builder. They're very similar. The Smart Proposal option just allows you to do certain things like offer options to your clients to choose from, say 2 hotels. You can also collect payments on your Smart Proposal, and you can go ahead and offer lots of things to book, such as Viator activities or a hotel. You can do that on itineraries as well, but it's just a nice little function of that builder that I wanted to point out. If we click on the Smart Proposal, it's going to open that up. And one of the other key features that I forgot to mention here, and probably the most important, is that the Smart Proposal allows your client to approve the proposal, therefore turning it into an itinerary. So it has an extra level of engagement if you're looking to get your client's approval on that proposal. All right, so this is our proposal builder. It's nice and sleek, but I do want to introduce you to one of our most favorite tools on TravelJoy, which is Copilot. I'll go over a little brief tour of the rest of the proposal. Don't worry, but we're going to start by letting AI take the wheel and build out a beautiful proposal for us quickly. So Copilot opens up over here on the right-hand side, ready to go. You can always access it over here as well. This is going to be your buddy for kind of just creating beautiful, sleek proposals. Again, saving you time while doing so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a prompt that I've already pre-created for this trip, and I'm going to paste it into Copilot and see what it does. So once we have it pasted in, I'll read it out to you because it's probably pretty tiny on your screen. So please create an itinerary for the dates of 9/20 to 9/26. The destination is Paris, France. The arrival flight will be this Delta flight from Salt Lake City. They will be staying at the Hilton Paris Opera beginning 9/21, since that's an overnight flight. And they will be visiting the Louvre on Thursday for a guided tour. Their departure flight will be this Delta flight. So as you can see, Copilot is already creating that beautiful itinerary on the backside. So we've already got our sections, which will break up our itinerary or smart proposal however we need it to. In this case, it's going to be by dates. And then it's going to work on adding in things like that hotel stay, the Louvre guided tour, that kind of thing. We can see those pop up behind here as well. So we've got our flight, which, by the way, connects to live flight tracking as long as our system can connect that flight to a flight that is out there on the internet. It's going to be able to bring that in like it did here. There is our hotel stay, our guided tour at the Louvre, and our departure flight. So already a ton of work we no longer have to manually do. I'm going to add a few more things to this proposal as well. I've got another prompt that I have ready to go for Copilot. I'm just going to throw it on in there. And that's to add a shopping day to Tuesday and dinner reservations on Wednesday night. So it's going to start pulling in that information as well. Another cool thing about this is you'll notice there are already photos being pulled in. And if we scroll up at the top, it's going to choose a beautiful photo for the actual proposal itself. It also gave it a title and an introduction. So again, a lot of work that is no longer on your plate. And if we scroll on down, we can find our Paris shopping day here and our dinner here. There is a lot of things you can do with Copilot. Most recently, you now can add options. So again, if your client needs to choose between 2 different hotels or 2 different restaurants, you can tell Copilot to add an option to the proposal, and that's going to allow them to choose between which item that they want and let you know. So that way you can finalize the proposal however you need to. We'll go over a little bit more about options in just a second, but lots of incredible things that you can do with Copilot, and we hope you will give it a go and see what you think. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, I do have some guides to share in the chat, and you'll see that in just a moment. And as a reminder, this is a recorded session, so you will receive a recording to your email after we conclude, and you'll also have access to these resources I'm sharing in the chat. All right, so now that we've seen Copilot in action, I am going to go ahead and give you again another brief little tour of the proposal. We have lots of other tools here. If you need to manually add a section, like we see here, this date down here, Sunday, September 20th, that's a section. You can go ahead and do so using that add section button. You can choose for it to be a date or just have it be kind of a break, totally up to you. You can add individual items by using the add item button. As you can see, we have a lot of categories to choose from, but I do want to point out 2 in particular. We do have cruise search. So you're able to search and bring in cruise details such as deck plans, the cabin types, all of that information, port stops, great tool. We also have the ability to search for lodging, hotels. So that way you can bring in details about the hotel and you don't have to spend a lot of time building those from scratch. So I did want to point out those 2 specifically. The rest of these are going to be items that you can add in and add details to. And then again, we have that live flight tracking option as well. Again, we talked about options briefly. If your client needs to make a choice between 2 different options, you can add an option just by using that add option button. It'll add it to the bottom here. And anything in this blue section is going to allow your clients to choose from. So again, it can be single items like hotel choices, or it can be entire itineraries. You just add those items to each option using the add item button here, and your client will be able to choose which one they're interested in, and we will communicate that choice to you. Amazing. We also have bookable items on TravelJoy, so you can offer your clients the ability to book directly through their smart proposal or itinerary for hotels, activities, and transfers, all while earning yourself a commission. So for hotel stays, you do earn about a 12% commission, whereas activities and transfers are an 8% commission. So again, saving you and your client a little bit of time by adding these opportunities to your proposal or itinerary and letting them book directly through there. All right, heading back to our proposal. Now we do have a library, which is going to be our next stop here. And I want to show you how that works. So if you potentially use the same item over and over again, and you want to save that to a space where you can access it on all of your different proposals and itineraries across your account, the library is going to be able to do that for you. So let's say we want to save first webinar of the year. I've already forgotten how to talk. This Paris shopping day to our library. Let's say we send our clients shopping quite a bit, and we want to go ahead and use that for later proposals and itineraries. We can click on the item itself. It's going to open up here on the right-hand side, and we're looking for this three-dot menu just to the left of the X here. We can use the Add to Library button, and that's going to allow us to make any edits that we need to. And another really cool update that we just released today, that's probably pretty fun, is when you hover over these photos within your proposal, you now get a larger view of them so you can really see what those photos entail. So once everything is up to date, you like it, you want to save it for future use, use the blue Save button. That library item is updated if needed, and then you can access that using your library button across your account. And I'll show you how that library button works with full proposals and itineraries in just a bit. Alrighty, last but certainly not least, we have our settings tab. You can always get to your settings tab using the settings button here at the top right of that title card. This is going to allow you to edit that title if you need to, edit the intro. You can even change the look of your signature. So we can say serif and then changes that. We have your cover photo. So that's the photo that's displaying up here. Again, if you want to make things a little bit bigger so you can actually see that photo, just hover over it. It only works on this right-hand side. So whenever you have an item up, you'll be able to do it. Our confirmation page, that's going to be the thank you message that appears when our client approves this proposal. And we can have a confirmation email triggered after they approve that proposal as well. So if you have a quick follow-up email that you always like to send to your clients after they approve a proposal, you can now automate that process using the confirmation email. And on this settings tab, we have another tab, pricing. So this is going to allow you to either just display pricing to your clients on the proposal or accept a credit card authorization or direct payment straight through the proposal. So a lot of fun things here. What we can do is we can put in a total price or deposit. We can change our currency if you are just displaying the pricing or if you are collecting a credit card authorization. We can choose to have our price as a fixed total or a sum of items if we want to do itemized pricing. We can choose whether or not the client sees one package price or itemized prices. And we can choose to hide the prices or show the prices once our client approves the proposal and it's turned into an itinerary. I'm just going to check one quick setting over here. Perfect. All right. Now, again, you can choose to just display the pricing if you'd like to. You can leave payments off, or you can choose to accept supplier payments, which are those credit card authorizations. That means we're collecting that credit card information. You're able to access it to pay your suppliers. Or you can charge your client's credit card right then and there through direct payments, and that lands in something called trip funds or group funds, which we will talk about in just a bit as well. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about both of these options, I'm going to place some guides in the chat. Just as a reminder for those joining a little later, we do have a questions tab open and we want to make sure your questions are answered. So please be sure to post your questions there. I have a whole team of fellow joy makers that are answering those questions for you. It's that little circle with the question mark just below the chat box. Alrighty, we've created this proposal. It looks beautiful. Let's go ahead and send it off to Jane so that way she can review it and hopefully approve it. You can always preview the proposal if you'd like before it's sent off, but I want to show you the finished product. So I'm going to choose to share the proposal at the top right, and I'm going to select send. This will allow me to review that email just like it did when we sent our form earlier. We can change the email however we need to. And again, we can automate the process of following up with the client if they haven't viewed their proposal in a certain amount of time using this tool here. Once you're happy with your message, hit send. And away it goes. And we are taken right back to that trip message feed again, where we can see that email we just sent, including our proposal. So let's switch gears a little bit again and head back into Jane's email. We're going to act as her for a few moments. Head back to our inbox and find that proposal. And Jane's going to be prompted to view that trip proposal. And here we have it. There is our beautiful proposal. At the top right, we have a few options. We have the ability to show and save this proposal in our Itineraries by TravelJoy app, so your client can take it with them on the go in an easy-to-view format. They can share this proposal with others, download the proposal to their device, ask a question, which will take them right back to their trip message feed with you, and finally approve the proposal, but we're not there quite yet. So let's go ahead and view the rest of the proposal before we get to that step. There's our beautiful title card and our intro. If we scroll down on the left-hand side, this is a clickable overview. So this is going to allow your clients to get down to a certain part of the itinerary or smart proposal nice and easily. So if you have a longer itinerary or proposal, this is really going to come in handy. They'll then scroll through. Things are going to be minimized, so it gives you a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more breathing space, and they can view the details of what they would like to view. And let's say Jane goes through this and she says, this is great, this looks gorgeous, I want to go on this trip. She's going to approve the proposal at the top right-hand corner of the screen. She's going to get a thank you message that appears, and you're going to get an email notification letting you know that the proposal has been approved. And if we head back to our TravelJoy trip and refresh the screen in any way, we've got these congratulatory banners letting us know that our proposal has been approved and automatically turned into an itinerary. So now it's an itinerary moving forward, but you can still make any edits that you need to. You can access that itinerary over here on the right-hand side or from the Trip Files tab. Perfect. All right, so those are the basics of getting started with a trip, and usually the main steps taken when you are first communicating with a client and getting the trip set up. We're going to talk about payments towards the end of the session, but I am going to switch gears more towards groups for our next portion of the webinar. Now, remember when I told you to think of a trip as a file folder? I want you to think of a group as a filing cabinet. So if you have multiple trips headed to the same location, think weddings, family reunions, cruises, you likely have a group on your hands. Creating a group is very simple. We're going to head back up to that blue New button at the top left of the screen. And from here, we're going to select Group from the options that appear. Now, typically, we know where our groups are headed. It's not necessarily the same as an individual trip reaching out to our client saying, hey, I'm interested in traveling, just don't know where. Let's go ahead and choose a photo for this trip. And I'm going to take a quick sip of water to try to save you all from my coughing. We'll use the Choose Photo button, and we're going to select Fiji. This is where our group is headed. And I have a photo that I am biased towards, and I really, really, really love it. I use it every single time. I should use other photos, but this boat photo just takes my breath away every time I see it on a group. So I'm going to be selecting this one. Oh, so pretty. And then we're going to name our group. So let's say Fiji Adventure 2026. We'll give our group a start date. Let's give it a few months out. We'll say April 20th through the 24th, Fiji. And we'll create that group. All right, so our group is created and it looks a little bit like a trip like we've seen before. However, this is an empty filing cabinet. We don't have any trips associated to this group. And there's a couple ways to change that. The first is to manually add a trip by using this little plus sign up here. And from here, very similar to what we saw earlier, you would select your primary traveler from this list. We'll send Jane on this trip here. And just create that trip. Again, if you do not have this traveler within your contact list, you can create new and add them that way. But once we create that trip, we're going to see Jane's trip, but it's within the group itself. So what do I mean by that? Well, think of it as nested in that filing cabinet. This is a file that's been filed away. So we can see all of our trips related to this group using this drop-down menu here. Jane is the only one in here for right now, but this will be a great way of navigating around your group. And you can always get back to the All Travelers tab to make any edits to your group as a whole if needed. So from here, we likely are going to need to send a form to gather details from Jane. We're going to need to send a proposal or an itinerary to her, and then we're going to need to collect payment using an invoice that we'll manually have to create. And if you have anywhere from 5 to 200 plus people in your group, That adds up to a lot of work. So we have a solution that may come in handy for you, which is our group booking pages. Group booking pages can be thought of as a standalone web page where your clients will access a unique URL. They'll view details about the trip itself. They'll be able to view packages, choose which ones they're interested in booking with you. Then they will fill out a form with all of your needed information. And then they're going to complete their deposit or full payment for the trip right then and there in that same process. And all of that information is going to be combined and deposited into a trip automatically for you in the group. So you can kind of set it and forget it until you need to start making moves on actual planning here. So the way that we make a group booking page is pretty simple as well. We're going to head to the All Travelers tab to get started. And from here, we're going to navigate to that blue Create button. You'll get very familiar with the blue Create buttons in all of these situations. Now from here, I'm going to be selecting a group booking page supplier. This just means that I'm collecting a credit card authorization. So when we see that supplier in parentheses, think credit card authorization. Once I click on that, I'm going to start the building process. One of the greatest tools that we released last year is going to be the ability to connect a group itinerary to your group booking page. We can do that by clicking this button here. We can create and connect a group itinerary by using the blue button. So basically, it's created that itinerary on the backside, and then we can edit that itinerary, and it'll open right up. And this looks really familiar, right? It has a few of those bells and whistles missing that are available on the Smart Proposal, but this is where we'd start building that itinerary for the entire group. Now, I do have an itinerary that's already pre-created that's in my library. So I'm going to use my library to bring that up, save us a little bit of time. I'm going to click our library, and then I'm going to search for this itinerary. So by default, all of your proposals and itineraries will save as a whole to your library. There's nothing you need to do. If you want to save things a la carte, you would follow that same process that we saw earlier with our shopping day. But by default, again, all of your proposals and itineraries are going to be available to you in here. If I search Fiji, the first one that's going to pop up, hopefully, let's see here. Oh, down here, this is the one I want, the Fiji Adventure Group Itinerary. I told you, I really like that boat picture, so I've used it before in the past. If I choose Start from this proposal, it's going to make me confirm, are you absolutely sure? I'm going to say yes. And it's going to bring in those details I've already created. I can even go into the settings, get rid of that copy there. And there we have it. Something that's really important to note, that you want to make sure that all of your packages, such as your rooms or cabins, do have their own individual items, because that's going to make the next step a lot easier. So you can see I have a queen suite and a king suite. You'll see in just a few moments what I mean. All right, so now that our itinerary is built out, we can go back to the group booking page building process. I can do that by heading up to this yellow banner up here at the top, select View, Group Booking Page, and it's going to take me right back to that builder. There it is. We'll give our group booking page a name. It doesn't have to be the same as your group. And now that first portion, our description, is complete. We'll move on to pricing. We can do so by clicking on the pricing tab here. Traveler limits, super important. This does not refer to the amount of folks that can book your group. This just refers to the amount of people that can book a single room or cabin. The reason I say this is that that maximum goes up to 10. Some folks are a little confused by that. Don't worry, you still have full control over how many folks can book your group. I'm going to leave mine at 1 and 4 for now. Booking options, we have 3 here at TravelJoy. The first is that travelers share the same dates. Everyone's arriving on the same date, departing on the same date. The second is travelers can book between 2 dates. So if you have, again, a wedding or a family reunion, and you have one party coming in on Thursday and leaving on Sunday, but another party coming in on Friday, leaving on Monday, you can set a date range for them to book between and their minimum night stay and maximum night stay. Now, packages. Super important. You have to have packages in order to publish your group booking page. And again, those are typically going to be your rooms or cabins. We can add a package by using that Add Package button. We can give it a name. I'm going to say King Suite. And then we're going to connect that item in our group itinerary. So that's where that important piece goes of creating your packages as individual items in your group itinerary before moving on to this part. When we choose that drop-down menu, all of our items on our itinerary are going to be available to us. I'm going to select our King Suite here. Quantity limited just allows you to keep track of your inventory. So if you have a certain amount of these packages to sell with your supplier at that rate, you can go ahead and keep track of that, and we won't let you oversell. Our available until date is how long our clients have to book this package. So if we are going in, I believe we said April, if I remember correctly, we'll say March 1st, they have to choose by. You do have pricing per night or per person. And I'm going to actually make a quick change just to make things a little bit easier. I'm going to add a package, go back in here again. We didn't save that in place. There we go. Just so we keep it nice and simple again on the rates there, since we're going to keep it at priced per person for the entirety of the trip. So that takes away that per night option, but again, allows me to demonstrate this a little bit more simply. We'll go ahead and put our price per person, which is going to be, let's say, $1,200 per person for single occupancy. And we do have up to quadruple occupancy. So we can add another occupancy rate below. We'll see that shift into double occupancy. And so on and so forth. You can add up to 4. You also have the ability to add a child rate and your deposit. Super important. It is required in order to utilize the group booking page. You can choose that to be per person or per room. Once you save those details into place, what I miss, our final payment due date, super important. This is going to allow your invoice to function properly. So we need to choose a final payment due date that falls after that March 1st date. So let's say April 1st. April Fools, you have to pay for your vacation. We'll use the blue save button to keep that package. And there we have it. All right, so you can add as many packages as you'd like. Because we are so short on time during these webinars, I'm not going to be able to add any more, but just as a reminder, you can add as many of these packages for your clients to choose from. Extra options are going to be add-ons, things like excursions. We can add an item using that blue add item button. Give it a name. We'll say sailing adventure. Connect that item in our group itinerary. So again, super important to have these items listed in your group itinerary. Our price for this is going to be $150. Our deposit amount is $25 if we so choose. Quantity limited, again, you can keep track of your inventory. And our available until date, just to keep things nice and simple, I'm going to keep it at March 1st. We'll save that in place. And there's our extra option. So again, add as many as you'd like for your clients to add on. Down here below, we have our payment details. So our payment method is supplier, meaning we are only collecting a credit card authorization. We have 3 different payment schedules here. So deposit and final payment. So your client's going to be paying their deposit or that final payment altogether. They also have the ability to turn on monthly payments. So if you choose this, your client will be able to generate a monthly payment schedule after they pay their deposit or a custom payment schedule. Our confirmation page, that's going to be the thank you message that appears when your client goes through the booking process on the group booking page. Terms and conditions, super important. You can upload these in your terms and conditions template so that you have your agency's terms and conditions here. And then offer FAY travel insurance. So you can offer insurance directly through your group booking page using FAY. If you're not familiar with FAY, I highly recommend checking out a guide. I'm going to post it in the chat along with a guide on our group itineraries. So that way you have it available to you. Those will be in the chat in just a few moments. Perfect. And you can leave that unchecked if you'd like, but just know it is always available to you. Last but not least is our traveler info. That's tab number 3. These are going to be the forms that your clients fill out as they're moving through that process. You can choose these forms from your form templates tab. You can choose different forms for additional travelers if you choose, or you can leave them both the same, completely up to you. And we won't be talking about task lists today just because it's one of our most advanced features. But I will show you our help center towards the end of today's session. And I'll use this as an example to show you how to search for guides to learn about things like task lists. All right, now that we have all of those details filled out, tabs 1, 2, and 3 are done. Let's head to the blue publish button at the top right. And we are going to get a unique generated link that we can now share with our clients so they can view our group booking page, make their selections, and have their trip created in TravelJoy automatically. All right, so if we go ahead and put that, let's say actually, let's do a new tab, that link in here, or you can click on it, it'll open it up as well. Here is our beautiful group booking page. We have that gorgeous photo of the boat. I'm obsessed with it. We have our intro that was on the group itinerary that I created. We have the ability to start the booking process right here at the top. So if your client's like, yes, I'm in, I don't need to hear anymore, they can move on to the next portion, which is choosing the package they would like to book, or they can peruse this itinerary and see a little bit more. We give your clients a lot of opportunities to start the booking process throughout this itinerary, and that's by design. We want to make sure that your client doesn't have to scroll all the way back up into the itinerary to find the package they'd like to start booking from. So we try to give them as many opportunities as possible. It's already 40 minutes. I will take a sip of water. Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate you. All right. So if they scroll on down, they can see other details from this group itinerary. And again, they have another option down here at the bottom to start the booking process down here as well. Gives them a little bit more details about those packages too. So lots of opportunities for them. Now, if they click on any of these options to book now, it all brings them to the same place. This is where they start the process of choosing their selections. So they'll choose how many travelers they have. And that package that's selected is going to show their pricing over here on the right-hand side. If they choose 2 travelers, that double occupancy pricing that I created is also going to update over here. So it does that math for you. They can also add on their extra options here. These are completely optional. There is no mandatory here. They just have to pick one package and then they can add on as many extra options as they'd like. They'll continue to traveler info and complete the form that you've selected. I'm going to send myself on this trip because it sounds pretty fun and I'm going to find this boat. It's somewhere and I have to see it for myself in person. All right. So we are going to go ahead and put in our @gmail.com email address that we're stealing from Jane. And just for the sake of time, I'm not going to fill out all of these details, but you can see a lot of these questions. So again, you can take them or leave them, customize them however you'd like to. I'll go ahead and continue to payment. That's our next screen. And from here, I'm going to be able to choose if I want to authorize a deposit or the full payment based on what I have decided on that payment settings section that we saw. I'm going to choose deposit, and then I'm going to add a new credit card below. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone who is joining, this is the most exciting part of the webinar, and that is because you are getting to watch me put in a fake credit card live. I know, it's insane. It's never been done before. It does do a trick though. So if you will, card, spin, thank you, and spin again. It's very obedient. We'll go ahead and put in our billing phone number. I have to make this section fun some way, otherwise you're just watching me put in these details and it's quite boring. Let's go ahead and say main, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll save that credit card in place. And then we'll sign and agree to our terms and conditions. So again, want to make sure your terms and conditions are uploaded. As you can see, mine are not all encompassing. So you'll want to make sure that yours are in there. Perfect. We'll go ahead and sign and agree using that electronic signature. And the last step is to authorize and book. All right, we get that thank you message again. That is going to be our confirmation template. So that's going to come from our confirmation templates tab. And then if we head back to our TravelJoy account, I'm going to get rid of a few tabs on my end just to keep things less confusing for myself, and head to our group. Like a magic trick, if we use this drop-down menu, we're going to see my name on here. And that's because all of that information that I just input is going to be in this trip. So if we scroll down, we have this message here that contains links to my group booking page registration form, the invoice that was automatically generated, the signed authorization, and the payment info. So that way I can access that payment info and use it to pay my suppliers, which, fun fact, payment info does live in your client's contact card underneath the payment info tab. All you do is locate the card you'd like to use, show that credit card, take those details, and pay your supplier. All right, So that is the magic of group booking pages. We are going to shift gears one last time for our final main section of this webinar, which is going to be payments. Now we have several ways of accepting payments at TravelJoy. You just saw one of them, which is credit card authorizations. But we also have the ability to collect direct payments where we charge your client's credit card right then and there in the moment from the invoice. And then we send those funds to what's called a trip or group funds balance. From there, you can create virtual credit cards or wire your supplier, or you can withdraw your markup to your connected bank account. I'm going to head back to our dashboard and head to Jane's Paris trip since we have to create those already. So we're going to head in here. And first, I'm going to show you how a credit card authorization or supplier invoice looks when it's manually built. And then we'll talk a little bit more about direct payments. So to create an invoice within a client's trip, if they have not booked through a group booking page, you can head to that blue Create button and select Invoice Supplier. Now this is our invoice builder. There are three main sections. We have our line items up top, our payment schedule in the middle, and our settings section at the bottom. Now line items, pretty straightforward. It's going to be things like hotels, flights, whatever you'd like to be adding, you can kind of describe it. We'll say it's $500 for the hotel. We'll add another item. Adds just below. Flight. We'll say another 500, make it an even 1,000. And then if you ever need to edit those details, like add a description if you'd like to, anything like that, just click back into that line and it'll open up. Now, if we keep scrolling down, we have our payment schedule here. And this is going to allow us to choose whether we want the client to pay in full and choose that due date, or pay a deposit and final payment. Now, that's not where the customization ends. You're not locked into just those two. You'll notice there's an edit button next to each of these here. And if you click on it, it's going to open up that payment schedule further. So this gives you the opportunity to add more payments, kind of customize it to your client's liking. You can even build out monthly or custom payment schedules using this Add Multiple Payments button. But if you want to add a payment individually, just use the Add Payment button here, and you'll notice one is added to the bottom. We can change the amount so that they match up here. So if we're going to say something like 500 down here for the second payment and click out, you'll notice that there's a total in red over here. That means that this is not adding up to this. So that's keeping track of your balance for you. So in order to correct that, we'll just go ahead and correct the first payment so that they even out. There we go. And we can even do things like change the due dates, change the description, we'll say payment number 2, and so on and so forth. Once we click out of that, our payment schedule is set in place. You can always add more if you need to. And then at the bottom of the invoice builder, we have our settings tab. So again, our payment method is supplier, meaning we are only collecting credit card authorizations. On supplier invoices only, you can change the currency that is displayed. You can go ahead and choose any of the currencies that we have available here. And again, that will display on a supplier invoice only. Invoice name, we can say something like hotel plus air. Our client, so if you have clients that want separate invoices and you have them on the same trip, you can go ahead and select which client you want this invoice to be associated with. Jane's our only client here, so she's the only one that will show. The confirmation page is going to be that thank you message that appears. The confirmation email will trigger after your client completes their authorization. Terms and conditions, again, super important. Make sure you update those in your terms and conditions templates. And as always, you can add Fay travel insurance to any invoice. Once you're happy with your invoice, head on to that blue next button and select Save and Review Email. From here, we've seen this before. You can go ahead and update your email however you'd like. Choose a different email template if you'd like. Make sure your signature looks nice and send away. And we're taken right back to our trip message feed where we can see that invoice. Now, if we head into Jane's email inbox, we should receive it in just a few moments. There it is. She'll be prompted to open that invoice. And here we have it. So this is exactly what our client sees. They see a few details about the trip, that beautiful photo. They have their details here. They'll be able to see the line items provided. And then they get to their credit card authorization. And lucky for you, I don't have to put it in again. That's because the computer recognizes me as a returning patron on this invoice, or as far as this account is concerned. So I'm going to authorize the amount that I'd like to authorize today, which is 500. I'm going to choose one of my credit cards I've used previously. All I have to do is enter my CVV code. Please. Don't think I put in the wrong one. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. Or I can add a new credit card here. And then I'm going to sign and agree to terms and conditions. And just for funsies, because I haven't done it in a minute, I'm going to draw our terms and or conditions signature. So as Jane, this is her signature here, and it is quite lovely. I'll put a heart just to make it a little prettier. Sign. And then at the very bottom of the screen, Jane's going to be able to see any upcoming payments as well. We'll authorize that payment. That thank you message will appear. And if we head back to our TravelJoy account and refresh the screen in any way, we are going to see that authorization. Again, your client's payment info is in their client profile card. And let's say that you've taken your client's credit card information, you have paid your supplier, and now you want that to reflect on the invoice itself. There's an easy way to do this. Just head to that invoice, either from this message here or from your Trip Files tab, where you can find that invoice. Head on down to the payment schedule, and where you find that authorized payment, you can mark it as paid using that Mark as Paid money bag option. You can even choose to send your client a receipt, mark it as paid, and that status is going to update accordingly for both your records and your clients. All right, now what about direct payments? Again, direct payments allow you to charge your client's credit card right then and there. That amount is going to flow into what we call the trip funds balance, which you can see on this tab here. Trip funds, think of them as a mini bank account. Everything comes into it. You have a full ledger of money coming in, money coming out. You'll have the ability to pay your supplier using a virtual credit card or a wire, or withdraw the funds to your bank account. And I know someone had asked earlier about payment processing, and I think that question probably was answered in the questions tab, but if I could have one of my teammates grab our processing, our payment processing guide and throw it in the chat, I would greatly appreciate it. Processing fees do apply to direct payments. That guide will go over a little bit more for you. All right, so creating a direct invoice, very similar to creating a supplier invoice. We're going to use invoice direct instead. Now, if this is just your planning fee, you can actually have this amount go directly to your bank account. It doesn't have to stop in the trip funds or group funds account. So if you are just charging your planning fee, I highly recommend using this invoice planning fee. It's going to be the same kind of setup process that you see, but an easy way of getting that planning fee to your bank account sooner. It's going to give us a quick warning. Are you sure you're going to be charging your client's credit card? We'll say, yes, I'm sure. And this building process is very similar. So I'm going to very quickly just put in hotel only. We'll make this just $500. And then we can leave our payment schedule as it is. Settings, our payment method is direct, meaning we are charging that client's credit card. It is funding to our trip funds balance. Again, if you are charging a planning fee or an admin fee, you can bypass the trip funds balance by using that planning fee invoice, or we have this checkbox down here. Again, that's only if this invoice is for your planning fee. We can give it a name of hotel only. We can choose to accept payments by credit card or bank transfer. Super important to note. Credit card payments are going to be available within your trip funds balance immediately, so you can start paying suppliers, whereas bank transfers can take about 5 to 7 business days. So make sure you choose the one that fits your supplier due date. And thank you, Heather. I truly appreciate you posting that guide on processing fees and times. Again, we can choose which client we want this invoice associated with, the confirmation page, the confirmation email, and terms and conditions, and of course, their travel insurance. Now, I don't have a handy dandy credit card that will work for a direct invoice, I am afraid. However, I'm just going to save this invoice in place, but I'll still show you what it looks like to your client. So let's pretend we sent this to Jane. She's opening it from her email instead of from TravelJoy here. And this invoice looks almost exactly the same as our supplier invoice. The only difference is this section here. We have this big blue make a payment banner to give your clients a clear indication that they are going to have their card charged. They'll place their credit card details here or bank transfer details if applicable, view your terms and conditions, and choose to pay. And again, that amount is going to flow directly into your trip funds or group funds balance, where you'll then be able to manage those funds accordingly. I'm going to post a guide about our trip funds and group funds feature in the chat as well. All right, folks, you did it. You made it through the majority of the webinar. All that's left is our help center and that promo code. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. Just one more sip of water. I'm hoping Lucas is proud of me. I reminded myself that time. Let's go ahead and talk about our help center first. Our help center has hundreds of guides created for you as you learn to use TravelJoy. So you can get to our help center by heading to the help center tab down here at the bottom left. And that's going to open it up for you. And I'll go ahead and post this link in the chat as well if you'd like to bookmark it. Now, you can use our help center to search any of our guides. As I mentioned, if you're interested in learning more about task lists, I always put the S's in the wrong places. You can go ahead and search that. It's going to bring up any guides that we've created as a team for you or any community forum responses. We do have a community forum that you can locate up here at the top right. So if you ever need a question answered by other travel advisors, we also hang out in there as well. You're welcome to use it. But you can search keywords to find guides that will help you through learning a new feature or process. If you're a peruse and learn kind of person like I am, you can go ahead and take a look at all of our categories here. This just gives you a tasting. Once you open some of these up, there are tons of guides. So we likely have what you need. But if you can't find something that's helping you through your particular issue, don't worry. We have a few options. We have the ability to schedule a 15-minute phone support session using the schedule button here. So you're welcome to utilize that if needed. You can also submit a support request by email by using this button up here. That'll take you to that form. You can also use our live chat feature. Now, for the holidays, our live chat feature has not been on. We're making sure that we're getting caught up with everyone's questions, making sure everyone gets an answer first. And then our live chat will resume Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. We do have a friendly bot here, TJ. He is pretty good at what he does, and he's always learning, so he may not be able to answer your question right away. But again, he's paying attention, so the next time that you come to him, he might have the answer for you right away. If he can't answer you with a few short questions, he'll transfer you to one of us. If live chat is available, it'll be a live chat, or he'll convert it to an email. Pro tip with this, please make sure that you are detailing your entire issue before getting off the bot with TJ or the chat with TJ. This allows us to join that chat or that email with as much information as possible and find you a solution as quickly as possible. We also love any screenshots, anything that you can do to visualize the situation. We're happy to help with that as well. You can also email us at hello@traveljoy.com. That is our direct email. Another pro tip with this, please be sure that you are reaching out to us from the email address associated with your TravelJoy account, so that way we can assist you with any account-specific details. All righty, that was a quick run through. Let's talk about our promo code. So the promo code that I'm about to provide you gives you 50% off your first 2 months of a pro monthly membership if you have not had a TravelJoy membership before. You can apply this promo code by heading to the settings tab over here on the left-hand side and heading to membership. I'm going to go ahead and minimize TJ here. Bye, TJ. All right. So again, the plan that we are applying this to is actually going to be your monthly pro plan, which is $39 per month. We can enter this promo code up at the top right. And our promo code for 2026 is JOY2026. I'll post that in the chat for you. Typically, we do the same code every year and just change the year. We thought we would switch things up a little bit this year. We're pretty proud of it. Once you save that code in place, you'll need to toggle back over to that monthly option, but you'll see that discount applied. So you can go ahead and choose your plan, move through the payment, and then you'll be set to go. So it'll be $19.50 for the first 2 months, every month, $19.50, and then it'll go back to $39. And if you want a little bit more bang for your buck, you can always upgrade it to your annual plan, which will take down your cost to about $32 a month. It's billed at $384 annually. So again, if you're looking to save a little bit more, you can see yourself using TravelJoy for the long term. That's an insider tip that I highly recommend. All right, folks, we have reached the end of our session. One more thing that I want to mention about the promo code. If you did just sign up for a TravelJoy membership, a pro plan, and it's monthly, and you didn't know there was going to be a promo code, please reach out to us at hello@traveljoy.com or through TJBot. We'd be happy to assess the situation for you. All right, now we're through the majority of our session, and it's time to say goodbye. But thank you so much for spending this beautiful Wednesday afternoon with me. I hope you had a happy new year and continue to have a happy new year. And if you'd ever like to join us again, you are more than welcome to. You can always register for the next TravelJoy 101, and you will receive a recording after we conclude in about 5 minutes. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your evening.